The work of art we chose to explore was a memoir called More Than Enough that follows the journey of Elaine Welter-Roth's rise in this world of media and high fashion. Growing up, Elaine always found herself never fully fitting in because she is a child to a Black mother and an Irish Catholic father. She felt as though she was never white enough nor Black enough to ever quite fit in with her peers. Carrie Ann Rockermore, who has a PhD and is the founder of the National Center for Faculty Development and Diversity, writes a book called Beyond Black: Diversity in America. She explores how biracial identity can be very difficult for some people because Blacks and whites continue to be the two groups with the greatest social distance and separation, which is why some people feel lost in this world, identifying with both groups. When Elaine gets to college, she meets the people who would eventually shape her path in life. The first person who Elaine met was her biracial female professor, who encouraged her to embrace her Blackness. Later in life, she met with the entertainment PR firm and a huge New York advertising company. This led to Elaine's success, where she was rewarded with a job at that magazine and met powerful Black women like Serena Williams and Michelle Obama. At her next job, she caught the attention of Vogue icon Anna Wintour, who helped her become Teen Vogue's editor-in-chief. While working at this job, Elaine became aware of what she wanted her mission to be: celebrate diversity in a predominantly white fashion media industry, which ultimately launched her groundbreaking career. After reading this memoir, there are many key meanings and takeaways that anybody can learn from. Elaine shows how important it is to embrace who you are and be proud of your race. Elaine was fortunate enough her parents gave her unconditional love and support. She may have felt out of place in the classroom, however, back home, she was taught that she was important and that was enough. Elaine also inspires others to follow your passions and explore upon your interests. She also talks about not letting anyone disrupt your dreams and be in control of your own life. Elaine also speaks on her multiple identity crises, which can be helpful for anyone going through a similar situation where you feel like you have no place in this world.
I had question 2, which was explain how the work is intentional and does it intentionally respond to male gaze or controlling image, and how. So Elaine was raised in a small town in California, growing up with a mixed family. She had a white dad who was a businessman, and her mother and brother were more caramel colored, quoted in the book. In class one day, Elaine was asked to create a collage of her family. What was realized is that during the creation of her collage, it was very easy to find her image of her dad, a white male, but when she was looking for pictures of her mother and brother, it was much harder to find pictures based on their color. So basically, since she couldn't find the pictures, she used pictures of white people, and this is an example of a controlling images. The images found in mostly magazines and books gave off the idea that most families were white. That is stereotypical to say that most families were considered white, giving off an impression that being an African American or mixed family was unheard of or uncommon. This is why the work was intentional and connecting to controlling images. One other example of a controlling images in the autobiography is the way beauty looks at African American women compared to white women, which is still an issue today. In school, Elaine saw a list of girls written by boys in class based on pretty to but ugly, and she was pretty much on the bottom. And this brought a lot of shame and brought down her self-confidence of her race. The majority of girls in Elaine's school were white too, and this made most African-American women self-conscious of themselves and their attractiveness, which is another stereotype and another controlling images. Thank you.
I'm going to be talking about how the work is intersectional, which identities are represented, and how they merge to depict a unique experience, especially one that corrects controlling images. More Than Enough by Elaine Welter-Roth bleeds intersectionality. There are many intertwined aspects of race and gender. Elaine had a unique experience in the sense that she was from a biracial family. Her mother was white and her father was Black. When Elaine was in preschool, her mother sat her down and had the race talk after she saw that she brought home an assignment representing her family as a white family. Her mother helped her amend the assignment to correctly represent her family and explained to her that she should be proud of her race. I think this interaction between Elaine and her mother directly represents a correction of a controlling image, that white families are the norm and families of any other race are out of the ordinary. Years down the road, Elaine begins looking for internships, and she finds one at an advertising agency in New York for people of color. However, she had a bad experience being a woman in the workplace along with a person of color, considering she was working in an environment consisting of white Ivy League students. It intimidated her, and she didn't make any relationships with her coworkers. She concluded that this was not her path, and it may seem she fell victim to a controlling image of an African American woman in the workplace being inferior, but this experience actually directed her toward her true calling. In an interview for CBSNews.com, Elaine made a point that ideas about intersectional feminism were circulating on social media, but that there was no mainstream media platform that created an intersection where all of those aspects of their identities could be celebrated. And she has done just that with her position at Teen Vogue and the underlying themes in her book. She truly is trying to be a voice for those who can't be heard and fight the good fight.
So I'm going to explain how Elaine Welteroth explicates the concept the personal is political in More Than Enough. According to Britannica, the personal is political, also called the private is political, is a political slogan expressing a common belief among feminists that the personal experiences of women are rooted in their political situation and gender inequality. Elaine Welteroth's personal life consisted of colorism and racism from an early age. In elementary school, she had made a collage in class with her fellow students and used white people for her family because all the other students did. The common image of a businesswoman and man being white led her to self-represent in an inaccurate way. This was a distinct part in her journey of embracing her race, because afterwards her mother explained to her what Elaine called the black talk. Her mother had to explain embracing being black to her because Elaine had experienced othering, and at a young age. These personal experiences are political because they involve racism, lack of diversity, and othering. Elaine also broke boundaries with becoming Teen Vogue editor-in-chief as a black woman, which was a struggle in itself. Her success was not easy, particularly hard because of her race and also her gender, leading to more political personal experiences. So overall, Elaine experienced inequality due to being a woman and black, and her personal experiences are shaped by oppressive systems in society, leading to explicate that the personal is political.
Okay, so I had the fifth prompt, which is explain how the work is feminist by showing how the work contributes to social justice. I wrote that this book was inspirational through every aspect. Elaine's life is, according to her, a series of walking with confidence and getting stuck in every quarter. The major feminist theme of this book that contributes to social justice is that you, as a woman, are enough in the workplace and when in a relationship. From the very beginning, Elaine was a confident young lady with passion in her life. She was determined and excited to walk through life, and she had to learn at a young age that her skin color might be as a detriment. But she was sure to turn it into an asset. Like every young girl, she goes through some identity crisis throughout high school and meets the first love of her life. This is her first roadblock in love. These two were not compatible, but she was trying to bend and mold herself to make him fall in love with her the way he used to be. This love lingered all the way through her first year of college, but eventually she shook him off all the way until she met her second love. She thought they were soulmates, but he was controlling, and he kept trying to change her to fit a specific mold that he wanted. She squished herself into a box to appease him, and she did not let her true self evolve because she wanted the relationship to work out. These events led to her breaking free and achieving success. She was able teaching women that indeed you were enough. She focused on young Black women because in her industry, she was put down for not being the status quo. Elaine made her career as a magazine editor. She started small as an intern at the Essence magazine and worked her way up to the chain with Ebony, Chode Nass, Glamour, and Teen Vogue. She was set on the beauty and fashion path at a young age, and it was because of her supportive parents and her determination that she realized her dreams and aspirations were enough to push her into her booming career. She proves to young Black women that they matter in this world and that they have as much as a chance to make a difference as anyone else. She has worked to keep Black women in the mainstream media to show how the Black women in the world that they are also beautiful and stunning and very intelligent just like everyone else. She proves every day through her world that you are enough and that your color, your size, everything does not matter.